Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria Montefusco and I'm a lover of all things when it comes to makeup, beauty, and fragrance. And today is going to be another Will I Declutter This Palette series video. So today I'm going to be deciding whether or not I'm going to keep my Anastasia and Jackie Aina palette. So I have had this palette in my collection for probably over a year now. I got it on sale off the Anastasia website. I don't believe this is sold anymore. And personally, I just haven't been reaching for it because the color story just isn't really something I'm super attracted to. So I wanted to give this palette another chance before I declutter it. Maybe I'll decide to keep it. I'm not sure. If you want to see me use this palette on my eyes today, if you want to see my thoughts about this palette, and if you want to know whether or not I declutter this palette, then please keep on watching. All right, so in case you're not familiar, this is what the Jackie Aina palette looks like. There's pinks, purples, greens, warm toned neutrals in this palette. So it's a very versatile palette. It's just not something I reach for, and I don't really know why. So today, since I'm wearing like a blue striped top, I think I'm gonna play more on the warm tone neutral and green side, just because if I was to reach for this palette and keep this palette, I think those are the colors I would tend to reach for versus the pinks and the purples. So I think we're gonna do that today. So as always, I'm going to prime my eyes. And by the way, my whole face is done. I have bake under my eyes, except for my eyes, just letting you know about that. But I'm gonna prime my eyes and I'm gonna use my Milani eyeshadow primer. This is the eyeshadow primer that I use whenever I'm testing out a palette, whenever I'm deciding if a palette is something I'm gonna keep or not. This is just my tried and true. This is a control in these sorts of experiments. So I'm gonna apply this primer onto my eyes and then we'll move on to the mattes. All right, so let's get into this palette. So first I'm gonna take the shade Ginger, which is this light orangey brown toned neutral in the bottom corner. And I'm going to take my Nabla N306 brush and I'm just gonna fluff this all in my crease. Anastasia mattes are very powdery, in case you all are not aware. I'm sure most of you are, because Anastasia had some very iconic eyeshadow palettes, 5 years ago. But in case you aren't aware, tap off your brush, definitely do some bake under your eyes or do your eyes first, because you are gonna have a powdery mess all over your face if you do not prepare for how powdery and how much kick up the mattes have. I don't mind it. I'd much rather have powdery mattes that perform really well versus non-powdery mattes that don't perform as well, but it's something to keep in mind. All right, so that first color is fluffed in my crease. And then now I think I'm gonna take Edges, which is this darker neutral orangey color in the bottom row. And I'm gonna take this very, very tiny crease brush, which is my Nabla N205, and I'm gonna go way into the deepest part of my crease just to emphasize that. So if you all own this palette, I'm curious, tell me what your thoughts are. How do you use this palette? Do you use it a lot? Do you think it was worth the hype when it came out? I feel like this palette maybe didn't get as much hype as it deserved because Anastasia had so many releases come out at once when this came out. They had this palette, they had the Alyssa Edwards palette, they had the Carly Bible palette, they had I think even more palettes that came out around the same time. I can't even remember what came out at that time. So it was just kind of overwhelming. I felt kind of bad for Jackie's. I felt like her moment got overshadowed with all these other releases from Anastasia, and they really haven't released many, if not any, more of these palettes in this format since. So I don't know what happened. All right, so now the crease is done and I'm gonna focus on my outer corner now. And I'm gonna go into that dark brown on the top row. It's called Credit, it's right here. And I'm just gonna take a very nice packer brush, also from Nabla, my N204. We're gonna pack that on my outer corner and then we're gonna blend it out with another Nabla brush. Again, very powdery, but that is all right. This is very pigmented. I don't really use this palette very much, so I assumed it would be the Anastasia formula I know and like, and I think it is, but dang, that is powdery and pigmented. All right, now I'm gonna blend that out with my Nabla N305. Just to make sure that this is all nice and blended before I start working with metallics. Oh wow, this blends really nicely. I'm gonna just go back into that dark brown really quickly, just on the very outer edge, just to darken that up a little bit. Beautiful. So now I'm going to apply some glitter glue onto my eyes. I'm gonna use this Too Faced glitter glue, and then we will go into some metallics. All right, so I'm gonna go into 2 metallics on my eyes. I'm gonna go into Sponsored, which is this dark green on the middle part of my eye, and then Duolas, which is this lighter metallic green on the top row. I'm gonna put that more towards the inner part of my eye. I love the name of that shade, Duolas. That is funny. Ooh. Wow, that is really pretty. Oh my gosh. Why don't I ever use this palette? This is beautiful. That shade is stunning. Wow. I really like that. Oh wow, that is really pretty. So now I'm gonna dust off my bake, and this is a Refer number 19 brush. Get all this powder away from underneath my eyes. And now I'm gonna take this Nabla N304 brush and I'm gonna go back into Edges, which is that darker shade. I'm just gonna put that underneath my eyes. And then now I'm gonna go into Trust Issues, which is that white iridescent shade on the bottom row. And I'm gonna put that in my inner corner of my brow bone. Yeah, it's like a white to slightly green iridescent. Maybe it's a white to gold, but it's just pulling green because of the greens on my eyes. I don't know, but it's really pretty. I think it might be white to gold. Ooh. Oh yeah, that is beautiful. So this is the completed eye look without eyeliner and mascara. I'm gonna do that off camera really quickly, and then I'm gonna tell you all my thoughts about this palette and the real question, whether or not I'm gonna declutter it. All right, everyone, so here is the completed look. I really love how this turned out. The mattes worked like a dream, blended like a dream, plenty pigmented. I don't mind how powdery they are. I'm used to that with Anastasia mattes, and to be honest, like I said in the video, I would much rather have a pigmented, well-blending, just great to work with matte that's powdery and has kick up versus a matte that's not as great to work with without the kick up. So that I can forgive. But these metallics, oh my gosh, especially that green shade I had in the middle, Sponsored, oh my goodness, I really love how that looks on my eyes. I just think it's a really beautiful palette, and I really feel like I rediscovered something that's just been sitting in my collection and I haven't been using, and I don't really know why. So, in case you can't tell, I am actually gonna keep this palette. I need to really reach for this more. I need to be intentional about using this palette. I haven't been, that's why it's just been sitting in my collection and been collecting dust, to be honest. So I am definitely going to make more of an effort to use this palette, but I will say, whenever I do my next eyeshadow palette declutter, I do about 2 a year. One in the summertime, which I already did, I believe it was last month, and then one in the winter time. So in the winter time, if I'm not using this palette, it's gonna go, it's gonna be given to someone who will use it more than I do, but I am gonna really try to make an effort to use this palette because I really love how it looks on my eyes. I mean, this is just a beautiful look, and it was really easy to put together, so I am really pleased with the result of this. So with that, thank you for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. You all really seem to be enjoying this like Will I Declutter It series. I'm not sure if there's any other palettes in my collection that I'm really considering decluttering. Maybe there are, I'm not sure. But if you all have any like video ideas with palettes or makeup that I currently have in my collection, please let me know. I've definitely been buying a lot less like eyeshadow palettes because I realized during my last declutter, I own a lot and there's probably not a lot out there that I don't already own. So if you have any ideas about using stuff that I already own in my collection, just please let me know. I would love to hear your ideas. So with that, thank you for taking a little part of your day with me to watch this video. If you like this video, please like this video. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm, helps grow my channel. If you like me, please subscribe and leave comments of video ideas. Leave comments about what you think of this palette. Just leave comments. I love interacting with you all. It's my favorite part of this channel. So with that, I'm gonna wrap the video up and I will see you all next time. Bye.